Hey guys, welcome back to the second tutorial video for the BitBay Halo client. In this video we will be loading up the client for the first time and using the built-in setup wizard to create your first personal account. Please note that the client has two forms of accounts you can create: a personal accounts or joint accounts. And in this video we will only be focusing on creating a personal account. I will create a separate video for setting up the joint account. Okay, so let's load up the client for the first time. Once loaded, you will be asked to choose a language. As I mentioned before in the first video, here you have many more options to choose from. I believe up to 92 different languages in all. And other than the default language, which is at the top here, the English language, I believe all the other ones are editable. Okay, so choose your preferred language and let's move on. Alright, the setup wizard will now open up. I highly recommend reading all the information in this window, this introduction here, especially if you're new to cryptocurrency. Check out the YouTube links as well. There's at the very bottom there is also a disclaimer. Basically, in a nutshell, it states that since the creator of Halo Protocol does not profit in any way through the use of the client, the creator is not responsible for your actions, and don't post illegal content on the marketplace. Illegal content will be removed. Okay, moving on. Next window, creating your keys. In order to open a personal account, you need two private keys. There are many ways to store and protect your private keys. One of the best ways to store them is to actually print them out on paper and hide these documents in a safe or a safety deposit box, or in a trusted family member's safe, or, for the sake of the matter, all three locations if you wish. There is also a fairly new technology out called M-Disc, which is basically a DVD disc made out of stone with a longevity of about 100 years. We do not recommend flash drives, CD-ROMs, DVDs, external hard drives, etc. as a viable backup source. They fail over time, and it always seems like at the worst possible moment. These sources can be used for typical day-to-day use because they're quickly accessible, but again, it's best to have a backup on paper or M-Disc for the highest level of longevity and security. I will go over how to create and load paper backups in another video. Now that that's cleared up, let's move on. Looking at this window, you see an example wallet address, typical for the BitBay client. This is just an example. You will have your own personal address inside the client once we finish the setup tutorial. This is not your private key. Think of it similar to your house address, and if you wished for someone to pay you, you could give them this address and they could send you BitBays from their client to yours. I'm bringing this up for one simple reason. Currently we have two wallets available, the client and the QT wallet. All QT wallets have an address starting with a capital B, and all client addresses start with a lowercase b. This might sound confusing, but actually it was designed this way to keep the confusion down. Eventually the QT wallet will be obsolete, and this bit of information will no longer be relevant, as then the only functioning addresses will all start with a lowercase b. Okay, onward. Next window. At the top of this window, it asks where you want to store your first private key. Don't worry if you don't know where you want to store them for now. You can always move your keys to wherever you wish and back up as many times as you wish in multiple locations later on. We always highly recommend this. Granted, for higher security, it is best to store the keys in different locations on your computer. The beauty of having two keys is that in order for someone to hack your client, obviously they too would need both keys. This creates the ability for the client to be virtually unhackable. For example, if you store one key on one computer and the second key on another computer, now the hacker would have to have access to both computers at the same time. You could even store the keys inside a PNG or JPEG image. So in essence, a hacker would also have to know what image has the key file. And finally, you can password protect the keys. So again, in an example, potentially a hacker would have to simultaneously hack both of your computers, find the private keys in each computer, or better yet, potentially find the images in each computer that hold your keys, and then crack the password or passphrase in each key. All right. Well, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself there, but I feel that it's best for you to understand now that this technology really goes above and beyond for your sake. Again, I will go in more detail about advanced tips to storing and securing your private keys in another video. Okay, so for this example, I will create a folder and save my first private key. And just to be quick, I'll just store it on my desktop here. And it's also best to name your files just for the sake of extra security. So I will name this one stored and save it. Okay, this just gives you the option to let you know if there again we're doing a personal account. You need two keys for that. This gives you the option to let you know you can also just do one key, but that is for joint accounts, and we'll go over that later on. All right, so you can look at the top of this window asking you to store your second key. Again, just for example, I'll just be quick with and save it in desktop. And I'll name this one fish. Okay. All right, next window, we are given the option to password protect our keys. This can be a little confusing simply because I wish to tell you all your options. First thing to understand, once you password protect your keys, you cannot change the password. Typical cryptocurrency QT wallets have the ability to change the password. The Halo client does not. The key will permanently be protected by that password or passphrase. When I first learned about this, I had to say I didn't really like it. For one, let's say you are a merchant that sells lots of items on the marketplace and have a very high reputation statistic. For your protection, you might have the desire to change your password regularly for the sake of extra security. Since there's no way to change your password, your only option would be to create a new account with new keys. This, however, would cause you to lose your reputation statistics. There is a solution, however. The best way to bypass this issue, as this setup window explains briefly, is skip this step for now. You can always password protect your keys after you make a backup of your keys. So for example, if you have unencrypted keys on your client, you'd make a backup and then again store these unencrypted keys in highly secure locations as mentioned before. Then with these same keys that you're currently using in your client, you could password protect them. This way, if you wish to change your password for added security, Now all you have to do is simply copy and paste your unencrypted backup keys to your computer and then encrypt them with the new passwords. All right. So just for the sake of the tutorial, I will create some passwords here. Letting you know it's you can obviously give each key a different password. All right, I'll be quick here. Notice it lets you know which key you're creating the password for. My first key I created was sword. Okay, and confirm the password. And here are the instructions explain also you don't have to enter 2 passwords, but it's best for high security. Notice here we got fish. That's my second key. All right, almost done here. The next window asks if you wish to hide your keys in an image. I will skip this step for now, as this feature deserves a separate video for it. Don't worry, as you have the option at any time to hide your keys in an image if you wish to do so later on. So we'll skip that. All right, back up my keys. So since I already password protected my keys, any backups hereon will be backup keys that are encrypted by the passwords. Again, don't be discouraged if you wish to have backups that are unencrypted first. As mentioned before, you can simply create a new account on the client by clicking on the File tab and at the top left of the window, and then clicking on New Account in the drop-down menu. Okay, so I'll be quick here and back these up. And again, just to be quick, I'll just back them up to my desktop. The next window here gives a brief explanation on how to obtain cryptocurrency with fiat. So if you're new to crypto, feel free to read through it. Who knows, one day Halo technology might put an end to these middlemen platforms and exchanges for good. Next window, the setup wizard helps us add an email address to the client. If you are worried about security issues, that's totally understandable. If you don't want to use your main email address, we totally understand. In fact, we recommend you create a new email address. So solely for the purpose of using it in your client. Feel free to read this information. Gives you a better understanding of how emails and BitMessage function to power the client's peer-to-peer network. Okay, we'll set up the email. Quick note, emails are not necessary but are highly recommended, especially for the sake of negotiating and escrow. All right, and also currently the client can only sync with certain email providers. I believe it has to do with IMAP features or something like that. A list of email providers is given in the client. Currently Gmail, Hotmail, Outlook, AOL, and Mail.com are supported, with hopes of adding more in the future. And one other thing, some people were having issues with Gmail syncing up. There is a setting in Gmail that you must turn on that allows access for less secure apps. In no way is the Halo client an unsecure app. It's quite the opposite, yet Google's protocol simply doesn't recognize it. If you are having trouble finding the setting, please refer to our website forum at BitBay.Market. Look in the help desk section, and then open the guides topic to get more information. I'll also make a brief tutorial video as well. So we will enter test email address. I've already set up. And next window asks for the email password to unlock it. If everything is entered correctly and you used a compatible email provider, you will get a window letting you know of authentication success. You should check your email account to verify that the client connected as well. You will have received an email from a sender titled me and the subject titled test. Congratulations, your client just sent its first email. All contract related emails and paid emails will be encrypted. Okay, next window of the setup asks you to create a contracts backup file. This is very, very important as well. It will store all your contracts you have in progress. This file, along with a few others, are vital to keep backed up for your protection. I will go over all the important files that need backups in a future tutorial. Okay, just to be quick, we'll go with the default location. Again, we recommend multiple backups in multiple locations. All right. Congratulations, the setup wizard is complete. You've successfully created your first client account. Once we close out here, the Halo client should pop up for you. Feel free to explore around, and don't forget to check out the client's documentation file in the Help tab. Right here, it's got tons of information on the client, and it's a very good read. All right, before any transactions can take place, you must first wait for the client to synchronize 100% with the blockchain. During the time I made this video, it was taking my computer on average about 20 hours to sync up naturally or organically or without any boost. But this brings up the talking point for our next tutorial, where we will go over different ways on how to speed up the blockchain synchronization process. All right, appreciate it, guys, and see you next time.